What is up on a winning Wednesday, boys? What's up, my man Doc? How you doing today, sir?
And I'm out there just taking it on the chin, moving forward in life, and having no regrets, not settling, and just making moves out there today. Today was a labor intensive day for me.
Yes, it's Wednesday,
Yeah.
and that's what we expect.
Yeah,
You cannot win without labor.
no sir. So
And you
we
can't-
yeah, a very labor intensive day today, which was great because I got a lot accomplished. Got my workout on this morning. Came in and got a bunch of invoices and estimates. Sat down with my team. Went over a punch list of things that we need to get accomplished, and just really kind of crushed it. And just moving forward. My daughter's at a cheer competition right now, so kind of a doghouse for the moment, but she gets it. Everybody gets it. We're out here to do something bigger and better in life. We got my man KC Law Dog Ashmore here with us in the war room.
Man, I love the war room. Every time I come in here, there's more. There's more effort going into this. There's more perfectionism going into this. More winning going into this. You know, a couple of weeks ago, literally a couple of weeks ago, this was a refrigerator for a shutdown brewery. Right? It was. God, it was.
I think it was a few months ago, but the point is, yeah, we've completely revamped that room.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, you guys can't see this, and then when I get a minute before that phone dies, over there, hey, what's up, Instagram? Well, before I get that, I'm gonna do the walk and show you all the hoo-yahs, but they got like a double monitor, computer board set up, microphones everywhere, soundboards. You know, we got some cool art on them. We got some whiteboards, and what's really amazing is that it's just been turned from essentially dead space into a place where, you know, you can come and get some production and production by, you know, like this is like a Zen place, you know, so instead of hopping on the motorcycle or whatever it is for you, you know, to go to that white space, that quiet space where you can really, really focus in on your work, this is an amazing spot for that. And I appreciate it, guys.
Well, the vision is coming to life, and that was designed by action steps and execution and not taking no as an answer. This is something that all three of us have talked about over the last year and a half or so. And,
Man, has it been that long?
yeah, it's been that long, man. It's a work in progress and baby steps, right? Like we knew the vision, and that's the thing a lot of people need to realize about vision is it will happen as long as you're willing to take that first initial step, right, Jeff? Like it will happen as long as you just as long as you're willing to take that risk and not sit back and get lost in the past mistakes that you've done. You're like, oh man, I've tried it and I failed. Oh man, I've tried it and I failed. It's never going to work. Well, and they're right. And for all intents and purposes, as soon as you start talking that way, you essentially just failed. So you're 100% correct if you live in the past and you dwell in the past.
Well, it's funny because we took a look at the end of 2020 and said, okay, what did the past look like for us in 2020? Because I'm telling you guys, in November, we were already in the mindset of 2021, all three of us. Like, so when we talk about this evening, our mission tonight is to explain to you the benefits of the past, right? It's not all negative. You know, we have all different stories and all different ways we can take a look at the past and use it. But what my point is we took a look at the end of 2020 and said, what did the past do for us to springboard us into the future in 2021? We created the Patriot Business Alliance. We got it up and running, and we started moving and grooving, and we created a year's worth of content. So what we want you guys to understand tonight, as we discussed, because Casey came up with an awesome script for us and a bunch of notes here, is we're going to take this tonight. We're going to take Kobe Bryant, the legend Kobe Bryant. You know, everybody knows him, and we're going to compare his style, the Mamba style, to how he dictated or how he did not let the past dictate his future. So
Right.
With that being said, I'm going to let Casey go ahead and kick it off unless you guys have any other intro welcome updates.
Oh, man, it's just like you said, Jeff, Wednesday wins. We know what Wednesdays are about. They're hump days. Either you can get stuck at the bottom of a hump, or you can take your ass and you can tie your boots a little bit tighter and you can get over the hill or whatever hill that you may be facing. And so I love Wednesdays just as much as I love Mondays.
Oh, man. Well, and here's one thing that I love about February, besides it's my birthday month. That's right, baby. Birthday!
Watch out.
Right? And since I was stuck in a South American hospital with a busted back last year, kind of doing that Bane thing, you know, we're doubling down on the birthday this year. I don't know, I might have 2 Topo Chicos, but look, man, February, what's great about February, yeah, it's the coldest month of the year, winter solstice, blah, blah, but it's also, right, January is a tough month. It is, man, because we're all dealing with, you know, our performance metrics. We all want to jump into 2021, you know, with a, you know, a lot of hoo-yahs and a lot of excitement, but it's like a really long fucking Monday, right? I mean, like Mondays are long, January is long. It's 31 days, one of the longest months of the year. You know, a lot of us, you know, we talked about recovering from that holiday, what have you, and then just grinding through January. So February is like Tuesday. It's refreshing. You're like, man, thank God it ain't Monday, right? I mean, it could be any day of the week, but February. And you know, what we're talking about is people who inspire, right? And last time we were here, we were talking about why we like sports figures, why we like, you know, why we emulate the great, because they're inspiring, damn it, right? Jordan, Ali, LeBron, Kobe, Manning, Emmitt Smith, even though a lot of people hate him, Tom Brady, whatever. You know, they accomplished the great and they inspired greatness in us. I promise you that every little kid who looked up to Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan or Hakeem Olajuwon or Shaquille O'Neal, their free throw shots and shots per average improved just simply by watching their idol, right? Because they would learn things, right? Just like Kobe learned things. He was inspired by greatness. So Kobe was the first post-Jordan superstar, right? Jordan is winding his career now. He played for the Wizards for like a month when Kobe was a 18-year-old freshman or something. And then, boom, he's gone. So then Kobe, you know, everybody's looking like, who's going to fill this Jordan gap? And here comes this kid out of nowhere, right, who tells an amazing story, right? He tells an amazing story, and it's critical because January is now part of our past, right? It's over, right? And if you fell off your January challenge, well, man, you better forget about it because it's Tuesday, dog, and you need to move on because the rest of your quarter goals can still be accomplished even if you hit a tripwire in January. You had some hoo-yahs. You had some wires that didn't get, you know, Velcroed right. You get Jeff Skinner over there to clean all that shit up. But, you know what I'm saying is you can't look back in that rear view because you're going to crash into what's in front of you, which is, guess what, folks? March, Wednesday, right? Quarter 1 will be over before you know it. This is the shortest month of the year. So it's a month to tap into greatness, right? Because it's got the, you know, December has the least amount of work days, but February is right behind it, right? Because there's a federal holiday right in the middle of it, President's Day, and that's not a day you buy a goddamn mattress, but that's a federal holiday where we recognize one of our founders, but it shortens up the month. And the month only has 28 days on a leap year, so it's a quick month. It'll be over before you know it. So don't be looking in that rear view like, man, I really should have done a little bit more, getting to the gym, or should have stayed on dry January challenge, or should have. Don't, you know. So we're going to talk about how we can learn some lessons from the Mamba, from Kobe Bryant. You know, whether he wore 8 or 24, he inspired greatness. And maybe he's going to go down as the second greatest of all time in the NBA, but tear off that rear view. Don't crash into March. Get after it. And some things that are taken away. The past is the past, but failure can be good if you learn and grow from it. So one of the things, Jeff, you know, pick up on, you know, what one of the reasons why Kobe was so special, right? Oh, did we lose you?
No, I was just listening.
Yeah, so I'll piggyback on that, man. Kobe was a phenomenal athlete for many reasons. One, he was probably one of the youngest basketball players that just dominated the sport.
Right.
From the get-go, too.
He came from a background that many of us have come from where it was difficult, broken family syndrome, right? 3, he comes in, he's got a lot of people to live up to. He's got some big shoes to fill, right? I.e., Larry Bird, Clyde Drexler, Michael Jordan, right? He's got all of these greats that he's got to now fill these shoes as a young man on campus.
18-year-old.
18,
yeah,
yeah.
like not even the benefit of the college experience.
Cherry hasn't even been popped in the NBA young. You know what I mean? So, but he had some failures and setbacks along the way, which I think made him a better person, made him a better athlete, team member, and leader. Because the beauty about Kobe is that he realized that, yeah, the mistakes that he made happened yesterday, but he didn't sit around and dwell on them. He looked at those mistakes, he reviewed his past, and he said, you know what? This is what I did to make that mistake. This is what I'm not going to do again to avoid that pitfall. And so he made those mental changes to be able to become a better person, a better leader, father, husband, the whole 9 yards. And we can look back today. February is also Black History Month.
It is.
You know what I mean? So again, that directly reflects to the past. So you understand that a lot of times in Black History Month, we often relive the past of such a debacle of what happened during the slave trade and some of our history in America. But what have we learned from it? You have seen great strides in the Black community because they said, you know what, I'm tired of being a victim, right? I'm tired of being a victim. What can we do today to change, to break the chains, to make our culture even better?
Yeah, and that was one thing that's very inspiring about Kobe is that he did not have the victim mentality. He did not tolerate the victim mentality. He had a mindset, I think it's in his book, in his autobiography, that he wouldn't tolerate that kind of, it's a bad call by the ref, it's this, it's that. I didn't get this shot when I was a kid. I got drafted 32nd in the NBA draft, blah, he just didn't tolerate that.
Yeah, he just owned it.
Yeah, the past is the past. And we do need to acknowledge that it is Black History Month. We need to acknowledge that we're like 5-6 generations from slavery, right?
Yeah.
The Civil Rights Movement was 1964. That was a largely political and somewhat peaceful social revolution in our country, but it took 100 years after the end of the Civil War just to get basic rights in most of the states in the United States of America. We're 6 or 7 generations, which means greats were owned by other people, right, in this country, against the Constitution of the United States.
But the thing that's important to remember is that yes, the Black community itself was highly abused, right, during the slave time and before. I mean, it's just not Black people that were slaves. I mean, across the board, the human race finally came to the conclusion, maybe this shit ain't right.
Yeah, maybe we're not so nice to each other.
Right? And so now you see the effects of that today.
Right.
Right? People still say that there's a shit ton of racism out there. I don't know where the hell they're looking, but not where I'm at. Right? Not in the military that I was in. We all bled red, white, and blue. So we understand that the past is what it was, but we don't wish to shut the door on it.
No.
Right? We wish to be able to get out of our depression, out of our addiction, out of our failed marriage, out of our poor fatherism. Like, that's where the past should take us to launch us into a better part of our future.
Right.
Jeff, where are you at on all this?
Here's the other thing too, man, is that when you start thinking about the past and the achievements, the successes, the goals, the failures, etc., I think where you start to win after you compile all of that data is when you turn that into motivation, right? When you understand that, okay, I got a sob story and no one honestly gives a shit about it. So why don't I go ahead and just pick myself up and move down the road and make myself a better person? And then surround yourself with other people. So, people that we're talking about, like, for instance, Kobe Bryant tonight, he inspired others because he shared his passion with others, right? That's why we've been doing what we've been doing, is because we've all been passionate about just giving back. We're not 100% experts in anything, but we are 100% experts in giving back as much as we possibly can.
Right.
So if you take the lessons, and I'm a firm believer that they're not all bad. There's a lot of good lessons that I have. It's my mindset. So, Doc, when you were talking about looking back, it's a mindset thing, right? So if you're in your head, then most likely you're going to stay in the past. You have to get out of your head and into looking at the future, which is the next step. So share your passion with others. Share your dreams with others. You know, you got to get somebody that's an accountability partner. A couple of weeks back, we talked about, you know, not having an accountability partner that is like a Doc or a Casey who we talk every stinking day, right? Get yourself somebody who can actually hold you accountable that's not in your immediate circle, and share that with them. Share your passion, share your goals, share your dreams, because that's how you're going to get out of your head and into the future.
No, you're 100% right. And I think a lot of times our past puts a lot of pressure on us.
Yeah.
Right? Like we can get overwhelmed with our past failures and even our past successes, right? We can get that ego trip. Like, damn, man, I closed that $1 million contract.
I'm the NBA champion.
I'm the stud, right? It can put us up on cloud 9, or we can be down in the Thunderdome, right? Depending on the past,
yeah.
which can in turn have a lot of pressure for us to carry. And as men, I feel like sometimes that we don't want to be vulnerable enough to share some of our past trials and tribulations.
Right.
Right? We have an underlying fear of
I'm strong. I don't need to do that.
Yeah, and I don't want to be judged. I don't want anybody out there to think that I'm weak, right? But that's a wrong way to think of things. When I became vulnerable, right? And when I did a self-reflection about my past, I realized that there was more strengths that I had there than I didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I began to become honest with myself and hold myself to a different accountability, right? I actually had those accountability people. And so we just don't want to let you think that the pressure of your past mistakes and or successes should not dictate your future successes. And I promise you, you're going to make mistakes in the future. I'm going to make mistakes in the future.
Yeah.
So don't think that just because you recognize your past mistakes, you're going to avoid your future mistakes. That's bullshit. You're straight up going to be lying to yourself. So, but we just don't need to get all bogged down, and victimized and say, oh,
well, and here's a lesson, right, from Kobe, from the Mamba autobiography, right? Like he had a very personally humiliating and embarrassing deal, right? The girlfriend and remember the girlfriend in Colorado, and then his wife is like, "What you got? What in Colorado?" Right? Yeah, I mean, this thing, a very public embarrassment, and instead of retracting into himself, instead of like he's already an NBA champion, he's already a millionaire, and instead of stopping, and you just got to own that, right? You got to own that pressure. You got to learn from that mistake, and you got to be better for it. And that's a very difficult public thing to overcome, because it ain't like you, me, Jeff, we hit a tripwire. 10,000 people are going to know about it, right? Like the greater Rockwall community that knows. Let's assume 100 people. We know more than 100 people. Those 100 people know 10 people, right? So right there, bam, you got your 10,000. They're all like, did you hear what Mike and Casey and Jeff did, right? Whatever that might be, right? So on the other hand, we're talking about a nationally public embarrassment, humiliated his wife to be, blah, blah, blah. But the takeaway from that was, I got to learn from this, right? I got to look at it long enough to know how's it going to make me better than I was yesterday. So when I'm facing that pressure again, I don't hit that tripwire, right? And he took the same kind of mentality to his game, to his business, right? To where you're learning how to make critical decisions under tremendous amounts of pressure, and making better decisions than look in the rear view long enough to get what you need to out of it, but so you don't crash into March.
Well, here's the thing though, right? Check this out. So what you want to hope, in my opinion, to bring from the past is clarity, right? You have to be clear in your head. Doc was just talking about,
Make it super big.
Understanding his weaknesses and his issues, and until he wanted to change them for himself, that's not until the change takes place. So as you're looking in your business, let's bring this back to the business for a second. As you're looking into 2020, right now is the perfect time, right? We're all thinking about our taxes. We're all thinking about what we didn't do or did do. I got a whole freaking paperwork over here that's telling me what I spent my money on in 2020, and it's also telling me what I shouldn't have spent my money on in 2020, right? So as you're looking back into your business,
stop betting on the track, Jeff.
yeah, that ain't happening, man. I don't do the betting thing. But as you're looking back into your business, you're wanting to get clarity. That's what we're trying to make the point of here. Is we're trying to gain the clarity of did you invest smartly? And that's time, money, resources, and people, right? Did you put the right money in the right places in your sponsorships and donations, et cetera? So as you look back through your business in 2020, try to find that clarity. And if there's some muddy water there, that's the time where you need to stop and look at that water and see why it's muddy. You don't want to just gloss over that because you're just going to continue to do the same thing in 2021 where you had the road bump in 2020. So clarity is big for me. That's what I took away from Doc and I have a very similar past and some of the things that we kind of came through and the demons in the dark closets and all that shit. But clarity is critical. That's my point there.
No, you couldn't have said it better, man. Because that's what pulling back those skeletons out of the closet does. That's what becoming honest with yourself does. And you're able to gain clarity. And when you gain clarity, you're able to understand the triggers.
Yes,
right?
That's it.
We're able to understand the triggers. And what I mean by triggers is whenever you're driving down the road and you see your competitor, you can either have two things. One, you can run them off the road, or two, you can wish that guy the best of luck in his day, right? Back in the day, I would see my competitor and I would be like, you're going in the ditch, right? But today I see my competition and I say, man, I really hope this guy does a bang up job for his client, right? Because as long as I'm continuously putting good thoughts out into the universe, hopefully good stuff comes back into my universe. Because I used to put a lot of bad shit out in the universe and all that came back to me was garbage.
Yeah.
You know? So it's very important that when you gain those clarity, that you understand the triggers that can get you back into your what I call piss poor thinking, right? That's what happens with me when I get stuck inside myself. It's kind of like piss poor thinking for me. And so I got to figure out why I need to get back out of that. I need to shift the way I'm thinking today. And the only way I'm able to do that is to fully understand my weaknesses, understand my failures, and ultimately just be honest with yourself. And you made a valid point. You had stated that now that it's tax season, you need to go through your bank statements and you need to look at what you spent. That's scary for me because I'm a free shooter, right? I'll blow money, on fast food or Sharpies or Costco. Costco has me. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now. Costco's got me.
every time.
Hey man, I just came in here for dog food. I got that'll be $8,000, Mr. Manning.
I'm telling you what. Every time I go in there, they offer me the American Express Unlimited. I'm like, no, but maybe.
Gabe has a good comment right here where he says, Gabe, thanks for joining us, by the way. Gerald also too. Big Country Jared Long's also here. But Gabe just hit us with I feed off my competitor's success.
Yeah.
If you understand the value in that comment, then you probably get what he's saying. And I'll give you an example here. In my industry, the audiovisual technology world, right? If another competitor is doing good, that means they're typically doing good work. They're taking care of their clients. They're taking care of what they need to. You know what that does for me? That makes my whole industry look good, right? Now, I'm not saying go out there and be a cheerleader for the competition because that's what I think about the competition because I'm here to crush them. But the bottom line to it is understanding that comment right there. Whatever they do good in your industry benefits the whole thing, right? So roofers get a bad rap. Legal guys get a bad rap. AV guys get a bad rap. So you want to push success towards the other people. Is there enough money out there for all of us? Abso-freaking-lutely. So go out and bust your ass and get your own. That's what I got to say. Great comment, Gabe.
I love that, Gabe.
Thanks, Gabe.
And so at the end of the day, Gabe, what happens when those that wish their competitors fail is probably because they're currently failing.
It's a mindset thing.
That's why I put this on. I mean, I'm hearing what you guys are saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down. And what I'm hearing is you cannot rise, right, if you're trying to keep someone else down. You cannot rise if you're trying to keep someone else down. And we rise by lifting others up, right? And look, I don't know how y'all think about shit, but I don't have any competition except for me yesterday, right? Me yesterday is my competition. Now, there are people in my business space that they are not my competition. And maybe that's a mindset, but that doesn't have, that's off topic for Kobe. What I'm getting at is, and what we're all getting at, Gabe is getting at is, and Doc's getting at, that piss poor mindset. How do you deal with that, right? You got to turn that negativity into inspiration, right? You got to turn that piss poor mindset into inspiration. If you think good, you're right, Doc. I'm thinking some good things about KC's Roofing Company. And you know what? I'm putting that good. I'm taking that negative. I could have a heart full of hate, man. I hope Casey gets a flat tire, busts his ass, falls off a roof, tears up his shoulder, right? Forgets his air hammer and has to use an old framing hammer, right? All the things you could think about, right? Gets a nail gun in the eye, anything you want to, whatever. You probably
Damn, Casey.
If you turn that into some good, right? You're gonna get a lift. You're gonna be thinking about, I can't rise if I'm trying to hold him down, right?
Well,
so we rise by lifting others up. And that's the thing, man, these setbacks and these competitive thoughts and these negative thoughts, man, it doesn't matter if you're on week 1, year 5, year 7, year 10, you gotta keep this over and over and over to keep trying to be great, right? Because today we're good, right? So tomorrow we can be better. So one day we can be the best.
Here's another thing. Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that a couple of suggestions that I personally did to help myself get out of this stuck in my past mentality was I went through and made a list of all the shit that I did wrong to somebody, right? Or all the stuff that I did poorly, all the money that I spent inadequately, right? And if I can see that in my face and I can go through and say, all right, cool, maybe I don't need a 10-piece chicken nugget. I can probably do a 6-piece and be okay, right? Or maybe I just don't need to spend this way. Or if I take this 10% of my profit and put it over here, then I can really focus on my retirement account. Or if I did wish ill intent on one of my competitors or one of my clients and something bad did happen to them, then it's my time to go back and say, you know what, I apologize. Eat crow. You know what I mean? Because that builds your character up.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, here's the here's the opposite side of that too, right? So when you go and make amends, you're putting a paycheck to the heart like we talk about all the time. But the flip side to that coin is the more little sketchy things and shady little bullshit that you're pulling continue to add up. And you know what? At the end of the day, they might have an effect on other people. But I'm here to tell you, case in point, from this coming from me and been there in that seat, you keep doing those little things and they're going to pile up, and all of those tickets, those little paychecks to your heart, they're gone. Next thing you know, the bank is empty. You're resentful. You're pissed off at everybody. The little things make you blow up. And you know who really gets affected by that? Me. Right at the end of the day. So now I'm at a point where it's like, okay, well, I did, 10 good things, but I did this one bad thing. And what do you think people are going to remember?
That's right?
Oh man. I mean, just think, for example, like, even if it's unfair, somebody leaves you a negative review, how many positives, right? And you know what's crazy about the Google algorithm or whatever on the reviews is it's almost like real life. In fact, I think it is modeled after real life. So back when Napoleon Hill and Zig Ziglar were doing their thing in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, right? One satisfied customer might tell 11 people that Doc Rannigan is amazing. Yeah. That's it. That's a maybe. More likely than not, they'll only tell one.
Yep.
But they might tell up to 11. One dissatisfied customer will tell 100. This is in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, dog. Yeah. What do you think's happening today with this information age when people can just like, I can reach 1,500 people on my friend page right now. Man, you thought I could trash you on MySpace. Wait till you see what I can do on Insta.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So they're able to trash you on 12 different platforms in one stroke.
Yeah.
You know?
Get that Hootsuite. Just trash that across the board.
Done, son. And so it's hard to get back.
Here's a point I want to make right now, because what we're talking about really is making sure you're on point, making sure your shit's tight, your business is running smooth. I think if you're a business owner, you'll understand the importance of that. But going back real quick to how Kobe was versus, looking in the past and how that affects your business real quick. One thing I want to touch base on, because we're about 15 minutes left, is it's okay to be obsessed, right? And let's talk about that, because
I love being obsessed.
Once you go back and inventory your past, which is something we all do, and from time to time, find something in that right there that you're obsessed with. Find something that just gets your motor running and go for it 110%. 4 years ago today, I was working for somebody else until I made a decision that I was going to be obsessed about starting my own business. 4 years ago today, I was still working for someone. Jump forward, I own my own business, just hired my first employee. The path is laid there for you. You just have to find the clarity in the past and figure out what it is you're obsessed about within your business. What do you think, Doc?
So are you telling me today is your 4-year anniversary, Jeff?
No, I just use it as a broad number, but no.
Shit, man, I was fixing to throw it off the charts, man. What?
No. I was just kind of using it as a gauge.
Okay, well, you just let me know when the real day.
Yeah, baby, because we're going like
water,
dude. The double.
Man, honestly,
double Wells burger with all the trimmings.
Check this out. Honestly, I don't even think about it because I'm so obsessed with my brand and my business that I didn't even realize it until Ben brought it up at our whiteboard party that I had hit 1 year of being a solo entrepreneur with no other income than my own business. So I'm so obsessed with my own shit that I don't care about dates.
Right. No, and you're right. And so to tap in on that obsessive mindset and to be obsessed, if you're going to be obsessed with something, let it be obsessed with success. Don't be obsessed with your past, because that will lead you to nowhere. It will lead you to a dead-end street.
Circle.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It'll just be in one big circle jerk. You're like, oh my gosh, nothing's changing. Why isn't anything changing?
Yeah.
How come poor me, woe me? So
victim mentality.
The victim mentality is what happens when you digress into the past. And so I love that, man, that you become obsessed so much that you don't even recall when you started your own damn company. That's huge. And I got obsessed, not with my business. I got obsessed with, and I know this sounds freaking crazy, man, but I got obsessed with being honest. I know that sounds weird or whatever, but I mean, I just had I had a lie to cover up a lie, about 5-6 years ago. And it was just,
you didn't like that guy, did you?
It was second nature to me. I just had a really poor way of thinking about life.
Yeah.
And
you were a different man.
Totally different guy. You guys wouldn't even recognize me 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
You needed a sandwich for one thing.
If I'm walking on the street. But I became obsessed with the truth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I knew
some other things too.
that was the only thing that was going to set me free from my past.
Yep.
That was the only thing. And so when I did the work, because being obsessed is one thing, but doing the fucking work,
that's even more.
That it takes to be obsessed is where you're going to see the change that you're looking for. So that's huge, Jeff. I appreciate that.
So Doc and I met.
Go ahead.
At some point into that transition, I don't know how many years it was, but he inspired me. He was a mentor to me, even though I was already in my own business, doing my own thing. And, it was just like a social visit, like just come up to the office and we had a cup of coffee in the conference room. And, he told me about his obsession and that how he had transformed his life by putting in the work on three simple things, right? God, health, and wealth, right? Yeah. And those three things, man, I listened to that and I was like, shit, that guy's on to something, And I was on my own obsession journey myself because I knew that I wanted to be better than I was yesterday, that I wanted to be I want to be the best. So today I'm good. So tomorrow I can be better. So one day I can be the best. And I've told y'all this story before, and that's okay if y'all are going to hear it again because, I'm old and I repeat myself. But, you step into the ring enough times, right? You lift up the ropes and you tape up the Everlast and you start beating the shit out of the other guy. He's going to land a few punches on you. You're going to learn a few things. You're going to learn to duck, for one thing, right? You're going to learn to be better prepared. You're going to learn to be in the goddamn gym, on the goddamn heavy bag, right? On the rhythm bag. You're going to be learning how to move your feet, how to pivot. These are things you need to learn. And I'm using sports analogies because they make sense. You can apply them in any business setting, right? Again, they also inspire greatness. But if you don't work on your skill, and that was one thing, right? So I probably had avoided doing anything but the bare minimum on my continuing education, the requirement that I have to stay minimally educated to practice law in the state of Texas. You only have to take 15 hours of classes a year. That's pretty easy when you think about 15 hours over the course of the year. I don't even know how that works out, but that's almost nothing, right? You go to one convention, which is basically most of what I would see at a convention is like people would roll in late because they were golfing. They drink all afternoon, not paying attention to shit, and then they miss half the next day because they were hungover from partying, right? And then I realized, man, I'm wasting money doing this, and I'm not learning how to be better. So I started doing things, right? I started consuming information. Everything that I could get my hands on around my business space, I started consuming it. I took 87 hours of continuing education in less than 6 months.
Wow.
Right? And I mean, bam, I just noticed right away, right? Nobody was faster on the heavy bag than me, right? Nobody could get around the ring faster than me. Nobody was more prepared than me. And there's one of these days I'm going to come along and there's going to be that guy. He's going to be like, oh, hold on. I've been saving this one, right? But the point is you've got to be obsessed with your craft, right? Sharpen that saw every day. Don't be afraid to be obsessed. And if that obsession is God, health, and wealth, or whatever it may be, don't be afraid to invest in self-improvement because that's critical. And that's one of the things that Kobe did, right? We're getting back to what we can learn is that he was willing to do anything, a lot like Jordan, inspired by Jordan, a lot like Magic. Magic practiced one summer. I think this is in Kobe's book. One summer, he practiced all summer on a new hook shot so nobody could block him. A whole summer. That's like 90 days in a row, guys. Yeah. Right? And Kobe was inspired by that and brought that kind of greatness. Again, hone your skill. Be obsessed. Don't be afraid. And when people call you out, because people are going to be like, man, aren't you a little nutty, Mr. Skinner, with all your duct tape and all your, all your hoo-yahs to get no, right? Because no one brings the level that Black Level does, right? It's a whole different game. It's not even a game. It's a universe of difference, right? When Black Level's on the job because of the obsessive attention to detail to make sure everything is right. Customer experience is second to none.
It's critical, man. It's critical. So let's wrap this up tonight, Jen. So just do a little recap here. We'll do it.
Man, I feel like we're like. We just got fired up.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, man. So, look, the point we want to make here is first and foremost for those that are commenting and following and sharing, man. We appreciate that. It means more to us, and it's critical for us because we're obsessed with this. So, what we want to drive the point home for you tonight is the 2 words: inventory and progress. Go back and inventory the past. If it's in your business in 2020. The goods, the bads, the ups, the downs, the muddy water. Don't jump over the puddle, jump in the puddle, and make sure you clean that water so in 2021 you don't have that muddy puddle again, right? So we're going to inventory what we thought about, and then we're going to progress. We're going to move forward, and we're going to learn. We're going to use our alliance. We're going to use our mentor. We're going to use our accountability partner to make sure that all of these things get squared away, because the last thing we want to see any of you guys do in your businesses or even in our own is to reproduce the failures of 2020 into 2021. So find yourself somebody that can call you on your bullshit. Let's just say it for what it is. Find somebody who has no problem, like this group of guys right here, saying you need to square that away. That's
Hey,
my closing point.
We'll throw out a couple of quick road pros here. If you're not challenging yourself, you're not growing and improving.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right? You need to be able to protect your dreams. Keep your dreams alive. Don't get caught up in the minutia of your past.
Or the society, right?
Or the
All the things that you're just like getting beat down with negativity.
You know what I mean? People can get wrapped up.
Your family.
Real easily. Oh man, my kid got COVID. Now I got COVID. Now this, you know what I mean? Like you can get caught up in this whole dismay of this poor mentality that will prevent you from getting and attaining your dreams.
Right. Hey, Mike, stop. Why don't you just be happy with what you have? You're so blessed, Mike. Why you gotta keep grinding?
You know why? So we can give it back to others. Yeah. That's why.
That's right. But again, these are the things, right? Protect your dreams, right?
Yeah, and that's what's going to keep the fire burning. And at the end of the day, folks, nobody said this shit was easy. Because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right?
That's it.
Not everybody's cut out to make $1 million, folks. Like, that's just the cold, hard truth. No matter how much you want it, no matter how much you think you're going to get it, some people are just not cut out to own their own business. Some people are just not cut out to be a 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure earner. And that's okay. But as soon as you realize what your potential is and where you want to end up in life, money does not create happiness. Happiness is created by those you surround yourself with that have the like-minded values and ethics and mindset that you have. That is happiness. It ain't no fucking dollar bill, folks. So,
yeah. Great conversation tonight. Casey, got any save rounds, brother?
Yeah, let me just wrap up a little bit. It's hard to follow up with the Right Reverend.
I know, you just killed it right now.
let me just say, look, man, be coachable, right? Yeah. You can learn something from anyone. Somebody might be a few chapters ahead of you, like me, right? And that means you motherfuckers can learn a lot from me, right? Because I've hit a lot of tripwires. But there's also these young bucks. I can learn things from them. And there's younger professionals, right? We got a young man in our office. His name's Austin Questenberry. And yeah. So young Austin, I'm like, but man, this kid's got some skills, he's got some things in his wheelhouse that are helpful. Be coachable. Have a mentor. You can learn something from somebody who's a few chapters behind you, right? And also, more critical, absolutely have to have a champion mindset. You must be able to visualize your success, right? How do you do that? Everybody I write my goals down twice a day. Morning, night. Morning, night. Now, I don't do it every night, but I know that sometimes when I'm not on that rhythm, right, my day might not be perfect. My week might not, but if I go to bed at night and the last thing I'm thinking about is what I want to accomplish, and the first thing I'm thinking about is all the things I want to accomplish to be, the best father I can be to my children, to be the best leader I can be in every aspect of my life. A champion mindset is not just, I gotta be like Thanos, coming up this weekend, and I gotta have 7 Super Bowl rings. It's that you see yourself succeeding and you do everything it takes to succeed. Thanks, Jeff.
Inventory and progress. Take away those 2 things right there and go make it a great week, because you know what tomorrow is? $10,000 Thursday, boy.
$10,000.
All right, y'all be good, man. Appreciate y'all. Have a good night. Those who are joining us, sharing, commenting the whole deal, we appreciate you guys. We do this all for you, and without you guys, this is just us talking and running our suck. So if you want to get involved, you want to be on our podcast here, and you want to join in and let us know, hit us on the DMs or shoot us an email, patriotbusinessalliancetx@gmail.com.
And subscribe to the YouTube. Subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, we've been live on YouTube as well while we're doing this. So y'all have a good night, boys.
Thank you.